Hello, welcome back to this tutorial where you will learn how to use Xcode Cloud Environment Variables to change the app icon for your beta app using a build script. Before we dive in, it's important to note that this video covers the reference of the predefined environment variables in the Xcode Cloud, which are accessible for your build scripts. This is distinct from the environment variable setting in the Xcode Cloud workflow, which we will explore in the upcoming lessons. If you are keen to dive deeper into Xcode Cloud build scripts and have not followed my full Xcode Cloud video, I recommend you to check out part 2 of our series when we discuss how to make dependencies like CocoaPods available to Xcode Clouds, offering insights into scripts you should write. Moreover, the previous lesson we also cover how to generate tester node through a build scripts. If you have not visited it, please visit it if you are interested. Before we begin with script writing, it's crucial to determine the appropriate phrase to insert our build script, postcode, pre-Xcode build, or post-Xcode build. For our current goal, changing the app icon, writing our scripts in the pre-Xcode build phase is advisable because it allows us to modify the app asset before the build process is finalized, ensuring our changes are included in the compiled application. Let's head to Xcode and begin. Once you open your Xcode, the first thing that you have to do is to create a folder called CI scripts if you have not done so. Since I'm following from the previous lesson, I have already created the CI scripts. The next thing to do is to create our CI pre-Xcode build. Right-click, select New Files, and search for shell. Name it CI pre-Xcode build and create. So now we want to change this app icon to a beta app icon. To do that, the first thing we want to do is to remove this app icon first and then replace it with a new one. To delete it, I will first find the locations of this app icon. Right-click, show in folder. Once you open, it will bring you to this app directory. So now we know that the folder we want to delete is this appicon.appicon set. To do that, we will go back to our scripts and type rm. This will remove the file and then --rf so that we will remove everything inside the folder too. Then we need to state the directory that we want. However, if we look at this folder, we know that the full directory is over here. But we doesn't know what is the full directory of the Xcode Cloud server. So then how can we write the full path? This requires us to refer to this environment variable reference, which we can use this predefined environment variable for our build script. If you scroll down, there are a lot of variables to use. One of them is CI primary repo path, which it shows the locations of our source code. So we can copy this and type it $CI primary repo path. Then after that, we will know that if we look back our folder, we will know that we are inside our repo. What we want to do is we want to go into our voice guide, asset, then our app icon dot icon set. This will allow us to remove this whole directory and the stuff inside the folder. The next thing we want to do is we want to move the new app icon into this folder. So we want to replace it. To move something, we use the command mv. However, where is our new icon? So we have to create a new one. Let's go to this app asset. So what I will do is that I will replace with the app icon of our choice. So, but the first thing is, let's keep a backup of this production app icon first. I will copy it, then I will paste it in the desktop. You can paste it anywhere you want. Then after that, I will drag the new icon into this folder. The reason I do this is to ensure that our content.json is all correctly set. Once it's done, let's copy this out, but first I will rename this. In this way, you can see that our app icon is still using the production version on our Xcode. But where do we put this folder? For me, I will put everything related to CI scripts into this folder. So I will drag it in. But if you want to see it over in the Xcode, we can just drag it in over here too. So now you can see that our beta icon is right over here and our production one is currently being used. We can do the same thing by moving them from this directory to this directory. To do that, we just type. The first part is still the same, but instead of going into voice guide, which is over here, we want to go into CI scripts. Then we want to move this one. Then now, where do we want to move to? We want to move this right over here. But instead of replicate this to string, we should create a variable for it. Just to speed out, I have just copied the one that I already created. And then we can just use it right over here. And here. So once done, the next question is, when will this CI pre-script Xcode build run? If you look at our workflow, we are unable to differentiate like which part for it to run. So what we want to do is that we only want to run this script when doing our build beta test, but not the rest of our workflow. How can we do that? In order for us to do that, we need to have a variable so that we can differentiate between them. So where do we find the variable? Let's go back to the environment variable reference. So over here, if you continue scrolling down, you can find that there is something called CI workflow, which allows us to find out the name of this workflow. So let's copy this workflow and write an if statement over here. So I have just copied the if statement that I've written it before. So this string of name, it should be your workflow name. So for me, when you edit the workflow, the name is beta test for me because I want to run this script only on my beta test. That's why I name it beta test. But if yours is a different name, just name it the name of your workflow. Then we will run this step to remove the app icon set and then move the new beta app icon set to these locations. If you want to ensure that everything is running just for debugging purposes, we can echo something out. So this will be like print statement in your app. So once done, the next thing is to commit everything. But before you do that, let's take a look at the workflow that I have created. So the first thing is the name, as I mentioned, is the beta test, which I stated on my root script. For environment variable, there is nothing, but we will take a look at the next lesson. For branches, for me, it will be beta because I only want to run this workflow if my beta code changes, so that I will build a beta app with the beta app icon for my QA team to test. Then after that, I will archive it and send it to the test file. Then share it with my internal external team. But in order to automate this process, you have to ensure that inside your info, your app use non-exempted encryption is set to no. If you doesn't understand what is the purpose of this, you can check on our part 4 of sending your app to tester and deploying on test flight with Xcode Cloud, as I will explain more about the CD process using Xcode Cloud. So now, let's commit all our changes and run the workflow. Once created, ensure that you have pushed the code. So this should trigger the workflow. So once everything is done, you can take a look at your test file and the app icon should change. If you want to test that whether other workflow will cause this script to run, you can duplicate this beta test workflow and change the name, and then you will see whether it is still in the production app icon or the beta app icon. If the name is different from what you stated in the CIP Xcode build, you should see a production app icon. If you are interested in learning how to add environment variable in Xcode Cloud and also how to use it, do check out my next lesson, as I will explain about how to add environment variable to Xcode Cloud. And I will also be creating another video to explain more about Xcode environment variable. See you in the next lesson.